Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me for session 3 out of 3 of our parent support series. I am so happy that we were able to put this all together. Today, in our final session, we are talking about resource and support navigation. A quick introduction into who I am. My name is Joelle, and I am a third-year occupational therapy student at the University of the Pacific. I'm currently in my last semester of school where I'm focused on my capstone project. And to find our capstone project, we have been researching over the past 3 years and then collaborating with the site. So the site that I've been collaborating was with Chat. And we've been working together to create a parent-focused support series for families of children who are deaf and hard of hearing. And really the goal was to strengthen parent well-being, connection, and access to support. I originally chose this topic because we learned about deaf culture and deaf community in school, and I found it really interesting. So when I was asked to research a topic for my capstone, I researched that topic, and that's how I ended up here at Chat. So why is our topic focused on parental mental health? Well, we have found through research that parents of children who are deaf and hard of hearing experience unique challenges, including emotional and practical demands that require ongoing adjustment. When your child is first diagnosed, you experience a wide range of emotions, including shock, denial, anger, withdrawal, all of these different emotions, while at the same time, you are having to make quick decisions for your family, learn all these new medical terms, and learn about different devices your child may need to use. And all these ongoing demands can really impact the parent's well-being. Managing the care, communication, and decision-making can contribute to increased levels of stress and fatigue and burnout over time, which is what we talked about in our previous session. However, research does show that support strengthens families. So when parents feel supported, they are better able to build strong relationships with their children. And a positive and healthy parent-child relationship has shown to lead to better outcomes for the children in areas like behavioral, emotional, social, and cognitively, specifically in linguistics, which is very important for children who are deaf and hard of hearing. So our project is really focused on parental mental health, but we are also looking to help both the parents and the children as well. In our previous 2 sessions, we talked about building social connection and how much that supports parents, and then also some strategies to manage stress and burnout. If you haven't seen those already, you can go back and watch them, or you can watch them out of order. It's really about just providing extra resources for parents. So in today's session, we are really talking about building a resource toolbox. So this is just about identifying the helpful supports, tools, and resources that can help families feel more prepared and know what access they have. Each family's toolbox may look different. What is valuable for one family may not be for another. Today, we're going to be covering some mental wellness resources. We're going to talk about some community and family activity supports, and then also school supports, because when we held this in person, that was one of the major questions that people had. So first, discussing some emotional and mental well-being resources. Research shows us that access to mental health supports and stress management strategies may help reduce caregiver burden and improve overall well-being in parents and children who are deaf and hard of hearing. I wanted to include this website, Psychology Today Therapist Directory. This is a website that shows local therapists and counseling services in the area. So you just put in your zip code or your address, and it will show all different types of therapists and counseling services that you may have access to. I also know that local counseling and mental health services are used through insurance, healthcare providers, and community organizations as well. Some apps that I know that are on the phone that have been shown to be helpful include the Headspace app and Calm app. Some people use this for sleep, but they can also be used for guided mindfulness, breathing exercises, and relaxation tools. In session 1 and 2, I also provided many resources that are online and virtual for parent support and stress management techniques. So if you haven't already, or if you're interested, looking back at those two will be a very helpful resource. Moving into family participation, I wanted to include this because participation in meaningful family activities and routines have shown to support social connection, enjoyment, emotional well-being, and overall quality of life. Engaging in these enjoyable activities can help strengthen family connection and reduce stress. So in this one, I just included some ones that are more local to Sacramento area or the Rancho Cordova area. However, there are many resources that are probably more local to you if you don't live in these areas. The first that I've included is the Cordova Recreation and Park District. They have recreational sports for children, family events, and community activities. And with summer coming up, I thought I would include camps, trips, and excursions that are all found on their website as well. There's also sacramentoforkids.com. These also have some community recreation programs, extracurricular, and family-centered opportunities that you can attend, and then some local family-friendly events as well. And then also the YMCA of Superior, California. They have some youth programs and sports, camps and recreational activities, and family engagement opportunities. All of these include very inclusive programs and sports programs that can be adapted. So that's why I thought it would be great to include these. Now, moving into school and mainstream transition supports, I thought I would talk about some educational supports, listening access supports, and specialized staff support. Again, transitioning into mainstream schools was a question that many parents had for the alumni members and also that they expressed interest in wanting to learn more about. So I thought I would include it in this final presentation today. The first is going to be educational supports. So the Individualized Education Program, the IEP, it outlines services, accommodations, and supports your child receives in schools. Families and parents are a very big part of the IEP team as they get to say what services they think that their child needs and help with the decision making and planning for their child. One of the alumni members, when I was discussing and talking to her in one of the previous weeks, told me that something important that she wanted parents to know is that they can request an IEP meeting at any time, and schools must respond within 30 days. And in these IEP meetings, they are required to have one at least once a year with your child, and they're really going to talk about how they are progressing, how they are doing with their goals, if they need to update any goals, if they need to update any services or accommodations that they're getting. And this is a really great way for you to advocate for your child, talk about services you think that they need. It's also a great way to ask questions, share any concerns that you're having. So those can happen at an IEP meeting, but again, if you have any concerns within the year, you can request one, and then they will hold one within the next 30 days to respond at least. The next support I want to talk about is listening and access supports. So there is a microphone system, there is the DM and FM systems, and how they work is that the teacher will wear a microphone around their neck, similar to how they do at chat. And then the noise will be transmitted directly to the child's hearing aid or cochlear implant. That way they can hear what the teacher is saying anywhere in the room. I know some of the alumni parents have said that these can also be hooked up to the smartboard at the front. So if they're playing a video on the big screen, they can also receive that feedback in their hearing aid or cochlear implant. They can also be adapted to be towards the child's laptop. So if they are just playing a video independently, they can also hear that into their hearing device. The teacher should receive training on how to use the equipment effectively so that it's not up to the student or the parent to teach the instructor. Caption videos is another support that the students should be receiving when they transition into mainstream schooling. So having, again, the caption videos either on the front of the big screen or on their individual devices is something that should be offered by the school. And then preferential seating. So if this child wants to sit closer to the teacher so they can hear better, that is also another accommodation or modification that should be set up by the school. I also wanted to talk about some specialized support staff. So I wanted to talk about chats, assistance with the transition. There is the hearing assistive technology system, which was set up to improve listening access and support participation in the classroom. From the alumni and from chat staff, I do know that they go to the school and set up the IEP with the school since they have been working with them at Chat Center. They know where they are in their education process. So they'll go and meet up with the teachers also and teach them how to use the technology, what accommodations they may use. And then they also work with the IEP teams. And then we have mainstream staff at Chat also who keep up with the students. So they'll have irregular visits where they will just check in and make sure that they are still being successful in their schooling. They can also attend IEP meetings if requested by parents. I know some alumni in the past have said that that is what they have done. So for some guided discussion, when we were in person, parents were able to discuss the following questions. I would recommend that you watching this video can just think about the answer to these questions or jot down some ideas. That way you can bring it up in the future to chat staff if you are having questions or concerns. So the first one is for those who have started thinking about school transitions, what feels exciting or stressful about it? Two, are there any routines that feel supportive or especially stressful for your family right now? And number three, what types of support do you feel like you have a lot of and what feels missing? This is the end of our presentation today and we'll conclude our three-part series. I thank you for all of those who watched and joined us during this series. Again, if there are any questions, my email is on the bottom down below at j_pakim@u.pacific.edu. Also, since my project is coming to a close, any questions or concerns can be brought to the Chat Center. They have a contact page on their website, and they are always open to chatting and talking. They're a great resource to have and a great school to be at. Again, thank you for joining us. I hope this series has provided you with some support.